Welcome to episode 38 of Run It Straight, where we answer your questions about how to get better at rugby league. We don't sidestep the difficult topics, but rather give direct, straight-up answers. In essence, we run it straight. How are you, Cal?
Great, how are you?
Good. Good for your second episode. First one wasn't too bad, was it?
I was happy with the debut. I was happy with the
Good debut. All right, let's jump in. Question one: how long is the program? Cal, do you want to answer that one? That's a different question. But
Yeah. So generally speaking, within our program with all the boys, that's probably one of the most common questions we get. Generally speaking, we keep the program that they have, where they're currently exercising and everything like that, for 3 weeks.
Is that what he means?
I think so.
He just says, how long is the program?
So I'm guessing this is the program.
Isn't that funny how people they get the same thing and they... So, note to self, please put more information in your question. I thought that he was what he meant by it was how long is like the League Fit program.
Oh, okay. Well, in that then, in terms of just talking about the lifetime of an athlete, there is no lifetime within League Fit.
And that's what we were looking for.
There is no lifetime within League Fit.
Like if you're, let's say that you are in a high-performance gymnastic program. Most of those gym programs, the girls start when they're... Girls, boys, they start when they're 7, 8, 9 years of age.
Yep.
The reason I say girls is my daughter, one of my daughters is doing gymnastics, and she started when she was 4, kinder gym, and she's now in levels, I don't know what it is, level 4 or level 5, but she's 10 turning 11, and she's been in it right through that entire time. So their program basically is 12 months, and then you accept for another 12 months. So at the end of the year, they say to them, okay, look, these are the kids that we're going to be taking up to this next level. This is where we see your child as being placed. And so it's just ongoing. For us, we break it into an off-season and an in-season program because there's going to be different training priorities and different demands on the body when you're playing games as opposed to when you're not. And so we essentially have in-season, which is 6 months, and then off-season, which is 6 months. So maybe that's kind of answering the question a little bit. But yeah, go on.
It's funny that different interpretations. Yeah. Well, yeah, like adding on to what Joe said, we've got plenty of examples of boys starting when they're 11, 12, they're 17, 18 now, still enjoying the program just as much as they have now when they first started. So within League Fit, there's no lifetime. As Joe said, there's an off-season and an in-season, and they just continue that cycle throughout the years they're here.
Yeah, and because the thing is, when you come in, if you come in as a 13-year-old and you've never lifted before and you've never trained properly before, there's a massive process. A lot of people will come in and the kids and their parents, oh, well, he's lifted weights for 3 months, surely he knows how to do it now. And it's like, no, that's not how it works. The program will progress over 5 years. What they're doing in year 2 and year 3 and year 5 is not the same at all as what they were doing. And, when they first come to us, maybe they need fat loss. And so we could be working on fat loss for 6, 12, 18 months, 2 years. Then they might move into a focus of strength. And then they might move into a focus of power. Or it could be a focus of hypertrophy. There's 4 or 5 different areas which are going to change over the lifetime of that kid as a footballer. And the stuff that they're going to be doing at the gym, the stuff that they're going to be doing from a skill point of view, and the stuff that they're going to be doing in the field, again, are different. And we're not just talking about volumes, we're actually talking about the drill. Volume is one of those things, but we're actually talking about the drills that they're capable of doing safely, the drills that they can progress to that are more advanced, all of those things. The same way, like we were just saying about a gymnastic program and seeing firsthand, and they spend a lot of time, I think they're sort of 16 hours a week. This is for a 10 or 11-year-old, they put a lot of work in. But seeing the progression year on year from the drills and the skills that they're working on, everything, and we're the same.
Yep.
So it's a progression. So, or maybe you were just asking how long is the program, and we change the program every 6 sessions or every 4 weeks, whatever comes first. But yeah, so please give more information in your questions so that we can go a little bit more in depth with some clarity. Next question. How likely is it to get accepted to trial for an out-of-area rep club for Harold Matts? How long is a piece of string? Depends on so many things, but let's run through it. how much money do you have to pay the no? So we've said that before, you know, how likely is your uncle on the board there? Because if it is, nepotism, we've talked about that. Anyone who's been in rugby league will have a laugh because they know that's the case. All right. So here's some information that we know previous years. St George, if you're in I'm assuming you're in Sydney because you're asking about Harold Matts. There's a few that are out of. Well, there's actually more now. There's Newcastle, Canberra, Melbourne.
Yeah, Melbourne and the Warriors.
And the Warriors.
Are also
so for them, it could be a little bit different. But in Sydney, St George normally have open trials. Norths normally have open trials. Tigers often have open trials. You may need to put an application in. I know Wests, Cronulla, Souths and Para, I think last year had application trials, so you've got to send in an application, but it is still fairly open. We've seen something interesting on that note. When the trials are application, it makes a massive difference. We had one of the clubs, the junior rugby league clubs, had open. They had invitation. No, it wasn't invitation. It was applications. 8 kids applied that we had in the academy. The one kid who actually had video had a 3 to 5 minute clip of him playing. He was the only one who got accepted. This is why I said it. I say it all the time, and I'll keep saying it. You must be filming your games. I mean, you know, even some of Coach Aaron. You would have seen him about on a lot of the stuff. He's one of our coaches in the academy doing our skills stuff. Does a lot of work with our online program. He only got into SG Ball at Dragons because we had a clip that had him making some runs, some offloads, and the coach gave him a 2-week trial. Happened after that, he went on, he made the squad, actually got SG Ball Player of the Year. All because there was a little bit of filmed footage. We know we've got countless other players who've managed to get a manager or someone with a bit of nous has shown it to a recruitment person. They have a look and they're like, yeah, you know what, there's actually something there. Can't emphasize enough how much you got to film. Even if we put that aside, if you want to get better, you need to be filming your game anyway, because you need to be doing reviews, you need to be analysing your game, you need to be taking stats, all of those particular things. Game footage it's advertising for you as a player. I think I've got a little bit off point here. What were we talking about again? What was the question? How likely is it to get accepted to a trial for an out-of-area rep player?
That's not out of point.
No, that's not out of point. That's probably the biggest thing that you can do, isn't it?
The more footage you can have yourself and playing, you know, whether it's your age, up in age, whatever it is, as long as you've got footage on yourself, you're going to be putting your best foot forward to get a trial somewhere. And that's the thing that we have been pushing to a lot of boys this year, especially because they're getting to that age around Harold Matts, especially with them going up a year to 17s. We need them to be filming their games, because if they film their games, they'll get better because they'll learn from their mistakes.
Yep.
But they'll also be able to send it to teams, not even within Sydney. If they want to go outside Sydney to Central Coast,
100%.
to Newcastle, anywhere like that, who could potentially have an open trial. It just gives them the best opportunity to.
We've had some players that have gone off to Queensland and trialled, and they were accepted into the trial because they had video. So how likely is it from out of area? Look, it's less likely that if you're in the area. Obviously, if you're playing, then the scouts, and oftentimes some players don't know how this exactly works. Let's say you're in the Canterbury district. What ends up happening is the actual club coaches, let's say you're playing for Greenacre Tigers, Canterbury will actually ask the coach, who are the players to watch? And so then they'll look at the 4 or 5. The coach might say, oh yeah, my halfback, my second row, my lock, and this winger. And so the scouts will come out. They will be looking for other people, but they'll pay particular attention to those players. And those players might be the ones that get invited to the trial. Okay, so you are a lot more likely to actually get to trial if you're in the area. That is just how it is. That's how it works. Okay, but playing well, developing your game, and getting video, those 3 things are really going to help. Is there anything else that you can only think of outside of that?
Well, you've got to put your name down first to be able to trial.
Yeah, you've got to.
That's the biggest thing.
There's nothing worse than getting to October. Oh, I didn't make Harold Matts. How many teams did you apply to trial for? Oh, none?
Yeah.
And when you hear that, you're like, what are you doing? It's all over everything on social.
Yeah.
Stop watching chicks dance on TikTok. And in fact, just delete TikTok. There's nothing useful that's coming from it. Yeah. And then sign up with the, Canterbury Junior Rugby League, St George Junior Rugby League, Balmain Tigers Junior Rugby League, Western Suburbs Magpies Junior Rugby League. Because they post, we're having trials at such and such a date. There's a Facebook, Instagram page, I think it's called Junior Representative Pathways or something along that. Search it, you'll find it. And they post out everyone's. When it comes to September, October, they're trying to let everyone know, look, these when the trials are, these are the cutoff dates, here's the email if you want to apply. Be proactive, okay? Be proactive and get stuck in.
Exactly.
All right, next question. What should a lock be weighing at under 15s? Well, you're getting a lot of depends questions.
Yeah.
Depends how tall you are. I went and got some numbers. So here's one I prepared earlier. I went and got some numbers to give you an idea, and I'll quickly run through these. So Canberra, Morgan Smithies, 185 centimetres tall, 106 kilos. Bulldogs, Kurt Mann. Keeping in mind, Kurt Mann sort of came through as a bit of a...
It was a half.
184 centimetres, 88 kilos. He's the lightest on my list. Manly, Jake Travojevic, 185 centimetres, 107 kilos. Brisbane, Pat Carrigan, 190 centimetres, 106 kilos. Newcastle, Adam Elliott, 185 centimetres, 103 kilos. Roosters, Victor Adley, 182, 95 kilos. Sharks, Cam McInnes, who was a hooker who came through. Yeah. So he's the shortest here, 177 and 91 kilos. So that's an outlier. The guy's just absolutely tough as nails, but he got into NRL not as a lock. It was as a hooker and then became more of a utility. Cowboys, Ruben Cotter, 180 centimetres, 92 kilos. And Souths, Havili is 178, but he's as wide as he is tall. He's just a tank, 106 kilos. Again, utility. He was a hooker who could play at lock. Height is a big deal. Now, look, you're under 15, so you're not expected to be anywhere near those weights. But what I would be looking at is what your height is, and that's going to give you a better idea of what you should be weighing. But I mean, look, 15s, who have we got that are 15s in the program? I would say you should be sitting 85 kilos. So let's think.
Depending on how, if they've hit puberty yet, really or not.
Yeah, look, 80 to 85 kilos, I would probably say is where you should be sitting. But again, like, you didn't put, I tell you what, which really does make it challenging for us. Yeah. We've got locks that are maybe high 70s up to 85 at that particular age. And if you're playing under 15s, you're still a year off, because Matt's is now 17s. Oh no, so it's 15s and 16s that next year will go into it.
Yes.
So yeah, look, we're probably looking at 80, 85 kilos still. That's a fair number. Yeah. Now, your height, which we mentioned is important. Height is out of your control. So what I would say is focus on getting your strength where it needs to be. Focus on building up. So a squat, 1.8 to 2 times body weight. Bench press, 1.4 to 1.5 times body weight. Get your Bronco under 5 minutes. Work on your speed and change your direction. And then on top of this, the rest of the skill set, become a good footballer is what, particularly at that age, they're looking for that a lot bit more. Someone who can be used at lock or could be used in the back row, or even if they could chuck into hooker like we mentioned with a few of those others if need be.
Yep. One thing I'd say though, don't take those numbers between 70 and 85. If you're a 60 kilo kid, don't go and eat yourself to 85 because the weight you're going to be at 85, it's not going to be good weight.
No. Which is why I said, look, focus on getting stronger, getting fitter, getting faster and more skillful. Just make sure that you are eating enough, and most kids aren't.
Yeah.
But going and getting fat and thinking, I'm going to hit KFC and Macca's alternating days now, that's not how you build your physique.
No.
But look, send us an update. Whoever sent, I don't know who sent that question in. Send us let us know what your height is, and we're happy to readdress that. Give you a little bit more information.
Yep.
That's our last question, isn't it? All right. So this is where I should say, please like, subscribe, and comment. Share it. Get other people to listen to it. If you've got any questions, you can put them in the comments. We'll use them. You can post them on Instagram. You can DM us. If you don't want us to actually answer the question here on the show, then I'm happy to just answer it personally. The reason we open the academy is we want to help people, get them to be able to realise what their potential is in the game. So anything I can do to help you out, I will do. I'll answer. Most of those are getting answered by me personally, particularly when you're asking technical things. So please reach out those questions, and we will see you in the next episode.